My name is Cara Baylor. I serve as the campus pastor at Carthage College here in Kenosha. I'm so glad that Sonia brought the personal because I'm coming here as a pastor of the ELCA. Pastor Lenny Duncan wrote a book called Dear Church, a love letter from a black preacher to the whitest denomination in the U.S. ELCA, that's us. That's us. And this feels like my Dear Church moment, an opportunity to speak my truth as a black pastor in the ELCA to the church that I love. In 1968, when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, his approval rating among white Americans was around 25%. Let that sink in. When Dr. King was assassinated, his approval rating among white Americans was 25%. Today, he is seen as a hero and beloved. But when he was speaking the truth in love, when he was trying to get white Americans to see the consequence of racial ideology that made slavery possible in the 1600s and was still alive and well in the late 1900s, he was scorned. Today, in the midst of what most people are calling the most consequential racial justice movement in half a century, which is my lifetime because I just turned 50 a few weeks ago, only about 37% of white Americans support and approve this push for change. So hear that in about 50 years, we have gained, count them, 12 points in white Americans seeing the consequences of racial ideology that made slavery possible in the 1600s and is still alive and well in our country. And as we have seen clearly over the past 10 days right here in Kenosha, in 50 years, only 12% more of white Americans have had the scales fall from their eyes to see the suffering of black, brown, indigenous, and other people of color. Everything didn't work out when Martin Luther King did his work. Brown and black people are still fighting to be seen as fully human. We want so badly to say all lives matter, but as a country, we have not lived into the belief that black lives matter, that poor lives matter, that indigenous lives matter. We have work to do before we can say all lives matter, and we are set free to do that work. So I'm addressing this part specifically to my Lutheran brothers and sisters, but it's really for everyone. Because we started this with lament, right? With confession. And we confessed our human brokenness. We were honest about that brokenness. And then we heard words of forgiveness, that we were and that we are set free by the grace of God to do this hard work of healing. We are set free by the grace of God to take an honest look at how we participate in the status quo of white supremacy without even knowing it. Dear church, know that what is evil is woven into the fabric of our lives and we cannot even see it. And you are set free by the love of God to call evil what is evil and to call good what is good. We follow the theology of the cross. We are called to speak the truth. So I am called here this day, dear church, to live in freedom and to be a part of the healing of this community and to ask for all of you to let the scales fall from your eyes so that you can see the racism that are around us. And so you're wondering, what steps should I take? And I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to tell you.
All right.
What you need to do is educate yourself about race and racism. It's not my job to teach you. I'll say that again. Educate yourself, white people, about race and racism. It's not my job, it's not Sonia's job, it's not Al's job, it's nobody's job of people of color to teach you about this. We have an internet. Do a Google search, right? You can do that. You can do that. Build capacity to have conversation about race and racism. You know what I want to do? I want to accompany you on this journey. I will do that. I will accompany you on this journey, but I will not be your teacher. So watch a documentary. 13th is great. Listen to a podcast. Code Switch is wonderful. Read a book. Read a book. Read Dear Church and discuss it at your church. Read White Fragility and discuss. Read How to Be an Anti-Racist and discuss and act. Come out and protest if you can. They are peaceful. I have been in downtown Kenosha several days this past week, and it has been fine. Mask on, working together and praying with those who want to bring peace to this community so that we can say, like we do every Sunday, on earth as it is in heaven. I ask that you understand the policies around transportation, education, housing, banking, our judicial system, and our own church that are rooted in racism. Now, you can't be involved in them all. There's no way. So pick the thing that you are most passionate about. As we would say in the church, pick the thing that you are called to do, that is your vocational journey to make a difference in this world. And I ask you to learn the full history of those systems. Learn the full history of those systems, because the only way we can change them is if we know the truth about them. And here's the thing, when you find out the truth about them, you will be uncomfortable. You will be uncomfortable because you will be shocked to learn that as white people, you have experienced things as normal that are rooted in white supremacy. And you will want to push back, and you will want to say, no way, it's not that, that's not racism. And when you ask that question, I want you to stop and reflect and ask yourself, why am I protecting this? Why am I reacting this way? And if you're counting, I'm on point number 6. I flew past 3 points of this sermon already, so just wait. Here's the last one. Be open to a change of heart. This is what this is about. It's about our hearts. It's about our souls. You can take actions. You can read a book. You can educate yourself. Those are all head activities. But bring it into your heart. Learn to be open to change your heart. Create in me a new heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me, so I can love you more deeply and more freely, and I can love my neighbor as myself. Dear church, we are called to love God, and we are called to love neighbor. And dear church, we are set free by the love of God to love our neighbors. We are set free to let the scales fall from our eyes and see the depth of racism that is all around us, because only if we are honest about what is happening can we change the world. We are here to change the world, to change Kenosha, to change our hearts. Amen.